Konnichiwa. David desu ne. So, 皆さん元気ですか? So, today, for the Teaching Tuesday for Japanese, I'm going to go over for colloquial Japanese, not necessarily polite, like for standard, like what you learn usually in school, first off. But for colloquial level Japanese, the difference between masculine and feminine. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to do with biological sex. If you consider yourself more feminine, with all the different genders that are nowadays, you would use the more feminine and the masculine more masculine. This is not judging or what you should be, just in general, how Japanese look at it. Okay, so I'm going to take a really easy phrase like "ii desu ne." "I" being good, "des" is a to be verb, and "ne" helps you confirm it. In other words, it's good, isn't it? Okay, that is standard. Now, given somebody more masculine or feminine may say it differently, like "ii desu ne" versus "ii desu ne," right? Now, I'm not a great actor, and I don't pretend to be one. But the overall grammar is exactly the same. Okay. Now, when you talk colloquial, so when talking to friends, people younger than you, things like that, in a family setting, men tend to do "ida na." The "da" is a lesser form of "des." I should say a more colloquial form of "des." You're still saying "I," right? You can even go "inda na." It makes it even more masculine sounding. Okay? So, it's good, isn't it? Now, more feminine, typically, traditionally, what girls or women would say, "I wa ne." Same thing. The "wa" makes it softer. In normal Japanese polite speech or standard Japanese, "wa" is a soft reference to the subject. Like if you use "ga," it's a hard reference to the subject. So like, if I'm saying as, like it kind of means as per. Example, "Watashi wa," given. Also, a lot of times in Japanese you don't refer to yourself a lot. Actually, let's be more accurate. Sato-san wa Detroit kara desu ne. So, as per Sato, Mr. Sato, he's from Detroit, right? So, it's making a soft subject. We may have already discussed, like, are wa dare desu ka? Who's that over there, right? So we've already established who the subject is. So "wa" is kind of like means as per. We don't really use it in English as often, but Japanese it's standard. So like if you want to be a hard subject, you use "ga." Like "kare ga." I've seen this. The curry's hot. I'm not talking spicy. In this case, it's literally temperature. The "ga" makes the curry more of a hard subject. Okay, so "wa" is a softener, you could say. So "I wa ne" is softer than "inda na." Right. Another example is "abunai desu yo." That's very dangerous. And the "yo," for those who don't know grammar, it makes it kind of an exclamation point, or it's like, hey, this is an obvious statement kind of thing, right? So that's dangerous, So "abunai da yo." Same thing, the "da," and then keeping the "yo." And for a woman, it'd be "abunai wa ne." So even though we've done "yo" for the male and the standard, the woman probably was going to soften it to "ne," agreement. Japanese in general, ideally, you never want to make somebody say no. That's you try to get it around as much. And in other grammar lessons, I've discussed the negative questions and how you answer them, which is very different from English. But like a woman, you could say "abunai wa yo," is kind of weird. You say "abunai yo," So it's softer. There's no abanaindayo. Makes the da in there makes it harsh. So in the colloquial for the feminine, you're actually taking out the actual verb. You're just saying adjective and right? So in general, for a lot of stuff, the ne is usually easier. Or let's use with questions is not so you don't use that as much. So like for instance, doko e ikimasu ka? Where are you going? So, sorry, got a little lost. I was thinking of things like for ikimasu, I could say doku ikuno, which were male or female would be kind of the same. The questions you're not always going to be as male and feminine. So, doku iku, yeah, you don't use a softener. They're pretty similar. Doku ikuno nano, that's more like you're in trouble. So that once again, questions are not going to be as have the softener, but like it's cold. Samui desu ne. It can be samui da na. It's cold, isn't it? For masculine, feminine. Samui wa ne. It's cold, isn't it? Feminine. So whatever you consider yourself to be masculine, feminine. Now standard. If you think yourself as plain vanilla. You think if you're biologically male and biologically female, and it also identifies that you would masculine, male, feminine, female. But just so you know, for whatever you consider yourself and however you want to present yourself. So, as an example, even though not colloquial, pure standard Japanese, by pure pitch and intonation and some word usage. Most people that were coming out of the Japanese language program when I went to University of Michigan sounded feminine because most of the teachers were women. And it took some time once you hang around guys in Japan to sound more masculine. And that was pure, that wasn't even with the colloquial Japanese. That was just standard just because of, as I said, tone, intonation, things like that. When all your teachers are female, that's going to happen. Now, I had a friend, Hillary, had the opposite situation. She was going to a martial arts school, and with my teacher was really rough and tumble. He really talked like a truck driver, and she was also working on a bar at night around a lot of guys and kind of still rough and tuggable environment. Maybe even some yakuza involved in there as well. So she sounded really butchy now, and which is nothing wrong with that if that's how she wanted to portray herself. But she didn't. She was a tough woman, really. Martial artist. She was bigger and stronger than her Japanese boyfriend. But she didn't want to sound like that. So she had to learn how to soften. Once you hang around more of the other guys in the dojo's girlfriends and wives, she learned how to soften up her Japanese and sound how she wanted. More feminine, which is what she wanted. So you want to present yourself how you want to present yourself. And just hopefully this helps. If you have any questions about colloquial male and female language, there's no real neutral in Japanese. I mean, you could say, like, for the samui da na, you could say samui na. It's still kind of masculine, but you could say samui ne, which is kind of neutral if you don't want to sound very masculine or very feminine. You could just cut out the da or the wa. Like, for the i desu ne, ine would be kind of neutral. So if you want to not sound so male or female, it'd just be standard neutral. So hopefully this helped. And tune in next week for another Japanese lesson. Also, I'm also available for Zoom Japanese lessons. If you're interested, hit me up, DM me below, and I will see you guys later.